Codewars. So we did, as all the features that we added, we tried to get as pixel perfect as we could, but we didn't implement all of the features because we do not know all of the languages that they test. So our main focus was the unit testing. So we just used GitHub Aloft to log in. So some of our roles were, I wired the whole Angular framework, I managed the data flow, and then also the APIs. Josh took it upon himself, he was the unit tester with Docker, which I'll explain a little bit later. Wow, okay. Sterling and Steven, they did the whole front end. They did every HTML, they made it look so nice, so almost pixel perfect. So some of the overview of what some of the tags that we use. We use just Angular 1.5, Gold, Sass, ES6. We use Podio to track our tasks, and then just everything else that we use. We use Docker. We used Codewars to make it look as close to Codewars as we could. So just some of the endpoints that I'm going to talk about quite fast are the random kata. So according to your Caillou level, you'll get one higher and one lower of your Caillou level. And so right now, since he's an 8, you can see the top, you'll only get 7 and 8s. And so also we made it so that you cannot get the same one right after it. So later, it will repeat a little bit later down, but the next one right after will not be the same kata. So you can train or skip.
So this is our training page. A couple of the, well, being on the front end, I was focusing more on pixel perfect. So this is as close to Codewars as we could get it. These two divs right here, these are actually in, we use CodeMirror. You can actually type code directly in here, and it looks exactly like what Codewars does. It also allows us, if you do vars or returns or things, it colors it automatically. That was actually pretty frustrating to find and find a good way to apply it. But once we got it, we were able to put all of our example tests and our actual full, our code in here. The other cool thing about this is coming from Josh's side, Docker. When we're pulling out the information, we want to be able to test certain types of code. So here are example tests, and this is actually coming from our backend Docker. And Josh will talk about this a little bit more. But we had to actually get this so that it was formatted correctly, so it showed correctly. And then my other main focus was the side menus. So I have the side menu here, and the top menu, the side menu. Yeah, ooh, ah, anybody? Look at that. It goes, if you scroll in, and it goes out, and yeah, it was pretty cool. And the other thing that we have is if you push run examples, for instance, it'll automatically take you to your output. It will run the test. It will give us our test results, whether it passed or not. In this case, this website is, I don't remember what that, oh, it's for losers. And then once it's all passed, you'll notice, oh, we don't have it on this one. It should say, oh, the attempt is here, and you'll attempt it. It all passes. If you've gone to Codewars, if you haven't been going to Codewars, you all need to. But you have passed all tests. The box turns green, and then on the side here, the submit button shows up. This was all done with a lot of ng styles. I learned so much with Angular. It was absolutely insane what you can do with Angular. So if you have any questions, yeah, Angular's pretty cool. I'm going to pass it over to Josh for Docker.
Cool. All right. So basically, I was in charge of the unit testing, which was basically brand new. I had to learn it all. Fortunately for me, Codewars actually has what they call their code runner, but they suggested that you run it inside of a Docker instance. So Docker is a technology that works very much like a virtual machine, only it doesn't have a new operating system. So each time we run this code, I'm actually invoking it in a command line. So I'll take that script, I'll take the example, I have to parse it into a single string with characters that are accepted if you were like to type it in your console. And then I invoke that from Node. Node has a package that allows you to invoke command line instances. And then when I get that response back, again, it's a single string. So if you end up doing tests that are more complicated, let me pull one up here. Sure. All right, so I think it is 10-minute walk here. If I click attempt, you're going to see that there's going to be a bunch of examples here that are kind of nested within each other. And I had to take a single string and parse that into nested objects, which Sterling will talk about here a little bit. We had to, when we gave that, it was any of these tests could be on one of 3 levels. So basically we had to parse that into a way for it to be displayed correctly so you knew which tests were passing or failing based off of the describes and its. A little bit more about Docker. Docker allows you to run unsafe code because if something breaks, it just hurts the Docker image and you can wipe that thing. So if you're ever running unsafe code, Docker is definitely something to take a look into. So I'll go back and have Sterling talk about the output here a little bit.
So the object that Josh was sending back, it was nested up to 4 times. So it was an object with a nested array, with an object, with a nested array, with an object. It went 4 deep in many cases. So my problem is making sure that when it came back, I was actually formatting it correctly. So the pass tests were green, tests that were not passed came back in red, and then the data, the describes that were coming back were actually whites. So I use a lot of ternaries in the code. So if this, then it would either be colored white if the test was passed. I had to actually nest 2 ternaries together, which was Brian helped me and our mentors helped me. John helped me on this one, but it's really cool the fact that we could do any test now, and based on what Josh sent back, which was an it, a describe, or a test, we could format it correctly. So this is the formatted. This is the way it's formatted, and it goes that way on every test. And
so once you, just to kind of talk about leading on to them, once you pass one, I just copied and pasted this real quick. When you submit it, it's going to take you to a solutions page where you can also see other solutions, and we'll pass it on to Steven.
Hey guys, so Sterling and Josh did a really excellent job with the training, and Alexis did a lot of the hookup. I was in charge of the solutions page and a couple of other pages. As you can see here, we have another instance of the code mirror. This is just an ng repeat for every possible solution for this particular problem. And I wrote a directive to stick onto the ng repeat, which took a bit of thinking, but once I got it down, made it really, really simple, both here and on the kata list page, which we'll show you in a second. So this is just a read-only code mirror. Has nice colors and is formatted correctly, which is basically why we wanted to do it. The other thing that I want to highlight on this page are these, on the bottom of each solution, you'll see the different voting options. So on CodeMirror, of course, on Codewars, you can vote for solutions and vote for katas based on your opinion, and we wanted to implement that. So Alexis did a really great job putting all this together, and I'll let her talk about that real quickly.
So to get the votes, we didn't want a person to be able to vote multiple times. So I had to join a few tables so they could know if they completed this kata, and to also get the solution ID. So as you can see, what Josh is doing is he's showing that you can only vote once, but it will update your vote. So it took me a while to figure out. I looked online and I tried to find joins that would work with updates and everything, and it finally came down to, I don't know if I just couldn't figure it out, but I finally just had to do a SQL call for each one and then update it. So the code's not super pretty. I think eventually maybe I'd be able to figure that out. But for the sake of time, this is like the last thing that we implemented, and so we wanted to get it done. But I had really fun working with the database and doing all the SQL calls and just getting all the information and figuring out how to get that all and to also format it the way that Steven needed so that he could use it on the front end.
So this is another page I worked on. Up at the top, it's like they said, it's just a random kata, and we just throw the information in there. Down here, we have all your completed katas. So this is sort of our landing page specific to the user once you sign in. So these are all things you've completed, and then we threw in your solutions for that particular kata. And again, this is just the code mirror directive, and we hide it to make it look nice, and then it pops up. And again, anything you've already completed, you're allowed to vote on. So you can vote here for the different katas, whether or not you think the kata itself is interesting or not. And I believe the last thing we wanted to talk about was the kata list page. So this is just where you can go to find kata that you want to train. We have a bunch of different sort and search features, which was pretty fun to implement, just a lot of different Angular stuff. The tags, if you scroll down, that was really fun to do. On Codewars, each kata has different tags depending on what it is. So if this is a good way to train your fundamentals, a good way to train arrays, or what have you. So they all have tags, and I set up a sort function for that. And then we have a search at the top where you can search for different kata, but only within the kata that are currently filtered. So if you choose like an 8 or a 7, and then you're looking for something Kababa specifically, there you go, it'll show up, just a nice little feature. And you'll notice that you can see how many people have voted and what their total votes are, but you cannot vote on this page, and that's because, like we were talking about, you can't vote on a kata that you haven't completed for obvious reasons. And I believe that's everything we wanted to discuss. Is that true?
Yeah.
All right.